Hey there, guys. So today we're going to talk about the Akko Cream Blue Switches V3. So Akko just released a new budget switch. It's one of their cheapest switches so far, but in fact, it's actually one of the better switches out there because it has a long pole stem. Okay, so let's talk about the specs real quick. It is a tactile switch with a 38 operating force, 3.5 total travel, 2.0 pre-travel, and a tactile force of 53. So in terms of operating force, it is a rather light switch compared to the other tactile. So compared to things like the Neapolitan, which has a 63.8 operating force. So this is a pretty light tactile, but it still provides a very snappy and good tactile feedback, even though the springs are light. So this is just a normal spring type. It's not a double stage or a triple stage or anything. In today's build, we will be using the double shot ABS keycaps. This is a vintage keycap I got from a Laser SMK keyboard, so it's over 20 years old, but it still works. Okay, so that was the quick sound test, and now we are going to compare it with the Purple Panda switches by Texi. So as you can see here, right, the Purple Panda has a stronger spring weight to it because the Cream Blue switches have a light spring weight. So you can see that the Purple Panda will push the Cream Blue back because it has stronger spring weight. But even then, the Cream Blue still feels as snappy and as tactile as the Purple Panda switches, despite having a lighter spring force. So here I'm trying to show you that the Akko Cream Blue switches have the same pole length as the Texi Purple Panda. So they both have long pole stem, which will create a satisfying bottom out feel. So now we are going to lube the switches because unfortunately the Akko Cream Blue V3 switches still has a significant spring pain to them, and the switches came in really dry. There's no factory lube anywhere, so the switches itself is really dry. So I highly recommend you to lube these switches. Lube the spring, lube the housing, lube the stem, lube the top housing, and then put them all back together. So as you can see, I'm using the SW9 something lube, right, which is a cheap alternative to Krytox 25T0. So you don't have to worry about making mistakes because this kind of lube is cheap and it works just fine. I'll put the actual name on the video, so don't worry. So as you can see right here, I'm using a jewelry holder to hold the stem while lube the stem. So this is just a basic way to lube. So hand lube is the best way to lube. Even if it was factory lube, I still wouldn't trust it. Now the lubing process can take a very long time. For me, it took about 3.5 hours to lube 45 switches. So if you want to do this, I suggest that you turn on some of your favorite shows. You can watch anime, you can watch Netflix, you can watch YouTube, because you are going to be doing this for a very long time. And it depends on some people. Some may do faster, some may do slower. But at the end of the day, it's still going to take hours to loop all your switches. And let me tell you that it is worth it, because these Akko Cream Blue switches sound way better when looped. So they no longer have the spring ping, they sound deeper, and it is smoother and better to press as well. So the only thing I have to say is don't loop the legs of the stem, otherwise it will reduce the tactility of the switch. In fact, if you don't have to loop the stem, you can just loop the house and the springs of the switch, and it would still provide a similar experience. But here I just want to be extra and sure. Okay, so what's my final thought about the Switch? Well, first of all, it has a tighter housing than the Taxi Purple Panda. And because it is such a cheap Switch, anyone can buy it, and I really like it, especially with the long pole stem. So if you're really on a budget, then you really should check these switches out. Personally, I like these switches way more than the things like Akko Jelly Purples, Akko Jelly Blues. But my most favorite switch of all time would still be the Taxi Neapolitan switch. I don't know why, it just feels so nice, but the Akko Cream Blue is very close to it actually, and I think I'll buy more of these switches for sure to complete my board. I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. Alright, so thank you for watching my video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to press like and subscribe, or comment down below what you would want me to review next.